Ding ding, round two. Welcome back to the Davy Brown 990 restoration. For those of you new, my name's Barry. Today we're going to put the pinion shaft back in this casting. That's all we're going to put in. We're not going to put the bull gear in or the internals. Couple of reasons. It's a lot easier to put it back on when this is strapped to the tractor, so you're not fighting with the casting moving around on your bench, because they may be heavy but they don't sit still. Another reason is this is the right hand casting, and if we have a look down here, you'll see, I'll show you close up in a minute, this has got number 71 on it. Number 72 is ground off because it's a right hand casting. With it being a right hand casting, the shaft, when you assemble this on the tractor, has got to go through the diff lock. Now, the diff lock, you put the spring and the diff lock collar into the diff, and you actuate the little lever and you wire it up from outside to keep the diff lock in the diff while you're assembling this. I would like it just to be that little bit lighter. I know it's going to be on an engine crane, but it's going to be a little bit lighter and manoeuvrable for placing in. Once it's strapped to the tractor, it will be a lot easier to put all of the internals back inside, because this isn't going to wander anywhere. Right, now let's have a look and see what we've got to be putting back inside. We've got a pinion shaft washed, greased, repaired, ready to go. As you can see, I've got it just propped up on a plug socket just so it doesn't get covered in hair. Around the back of here we have new seal or replacement seal, Agri-Line 9127. We have the outer race for the inside bearing, which is the one at this end. I have the spacer and the clip. We've got the outer race for the outer bearing. We've got the clip and the caps. Now the same procedure as the other day with that one. Put the clip in, but we will put the spacer in next. Then we will put the race in. Then we will put the shaft in. Put the outer race in for the rear. Bump it into position. Put the cap in. Put the clip in. Measure the gap. Measure some shims. Put the shims in. Job should be a good one by that time, shouldn't it? Right, let's get this laid flat on his back because it's easier. We'll get it laid flat on his back and we'll see if we can remember to push some buttons today, so you can see what's going on. Right, let's crack on. As I say, you can see here, 71 still intact, 72, the 2's been ground out on this one, designating that it is actually a right hand casting of standard range. Right, let's get set up. Did you hear that? It did click, it did go, the video is on. Right, first things first, outside clip's going to go in. Now, get me glasses. I've washed and cleaned all these and greased them up. You can see on this one, let's have a look at here, you can see on this one the witness mark where the little spacer was sitting, and you can see the witness mark where it was sitting in the castings. So I'm going to put that back in the same way as it came out. Right, where's my little brass punch? Little brass punch. I'll just okay. Circlip in place. Now remember, we aren't going to put the seal in till last, because it's all going to come out, not that, but the shaft's got to go in and out in order to measure the shims. Right, now what we're going to do, we'll flip it over onto its face we will put a spacer in and the outer race of this bearing. Let's get it turned. Next thing in the hole, spacer ring. Again, check both sides. You can see both edges of that are similar. There's not a great deal of difference in them, so we'll pop that in there. Now, next thing is bearing race, outer bearing race for the inner bearing. This has been washed in diesel, cleaned, dried and greased up, ready to go. Let's get our bearing tapper. Knock this into position. I might have to move you guys here. Let's have a look and see. Oh, didn't have to. There we go. There we go. Outer race in place. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to stand us back up on this face so we can get at it to slide the shaft in. Let's crack on. Next thing, shaft's got to go in, into there, then the outer race for the rear bearing to go in. Now, need me axle stand again, don't I? Tin of grip primer. Works wonders. Right. Put that through into there. Rear race. These bearing numbers on here, these aren't Davy Brown part numbers, they're bearing numbers. Kilo 25522 SKF bearings. Okay, let's tap this in. What have I done with my brass punch? There it is. Pull the bearing, the shaft all the way through. Tap that gently. Do not catch the cage. This piece. I've got something better than pointy stick than that. Tapping on the outer race, not on the cage and not on the shaft. Right. Now we're going to pop in our disc, no seal on at the minute. I'm just going to pop that in. I'm going to use the heel of the hammer. Push that into position. And we're going to pop this ring in, this snap ring in. Then we'll tap that into position. make sure that shaft is as far forward as it'll go. Now, feeler gauges. Again, let's start with 20 thou. No, 20 thou won't go in. 15. 15 goes in. Yeah, 15 goes in. 15. 16 and a half. Turn that over the other way. It's easier. No, 16 and a half won't go in. So, 15 plus 5, because you've got a plus 5 for these ones to push preload into the shaft. So, we've got, this is the Shim pack. It's covered in diesel because I've just washed it up this morning. This is the Shim pack that we had originally in there. Oh, that was a good start, wasn't it? And our little trusty micrometer. One and a half thou out. Spot on. Always check your mics. You never know what you've done, whether they've been bumped or dropped or whatever, but always check them. That's 10 thou, that one. Just over 10 thou on that one. And just over 10 thou on that one. Right. So, we'll measure this again. So I'm saying it's 15. It's settled. Right, 15, 15. So we'll pop that clip back out of there. Pop the cap back out of here. Right, just smear the shims with grease a touch. Pop them into there. O-ring, new O-ring. Bit of grease on the O-ring to help it seat. Pop that onto there, and again just push it in, make sure it's going to seat properly. And then we're just going to put a smidge of grease around the outside. Pop that into position. Hands wipe. fighting with it. Right, as you see, I had to hang it over the edge of the bench to get all of the compression that I could that way and get us something solid to knock against to get that in. Right, last thing is clip back in. And then tap it into position. You can see that when it drops in. And I'm going to put a smidge of grease on that so we can get it painted. Because the last one corroded in badly, if you remember on the video. Just a quick tidy up. Just so it looks tidy. You know, it's got to look good and it's got to look pretty. Okay. Oh, gets a bit of rotation. Make sure them bearings have lined up properly and seated in. You can hear them turning beautifully in there. Right, so last thing now, put my seal in, down in the hole, keep that all sealed up. Right, I'm going to put quite a bit of grease on this ring because this is the surface that it's going to sit on. So I'll put a bit of grease on there. And the seal will carry that down as it goes over to lubricate it. We will put grease on the inside. We will put grease on the outside just to help it go down. Okay, slide that over the top. Get it past the camera. That has just about gone in with fingers only. Now, Cuthbert from New Zealand did say, if your seals are worn and they're damaged and leaking, you do not have to dismantle this to change them. Pull it off your tractor, put a little self-tapping screw through the top of the seal there and tease it out or pull it out with pliers. It will come out. And so you don't have to dismantle everything. Try and knock it in square. Go around gently. Stay more to the outer edge so you don't damage the seal face or the body. Oops, have we dropped there, people? Wait a minute, let's get you put right. Carry on. You will hear when this hits the casting. There, you hear it? That looks bloody lovely, doesn't it? Right. Now I know I've recorded all that on the phone. Let us see if it captures it. Okay, that's it for this one for today. As I say, the internals aren't going back in this one until much later on, until it goes back on the tractor. Now, a couple other little jobs that we're getting done, and a massive thank you to Shane, Path of Discovery, who sent me some images of his oil delivery pipes. But we've took delivery of a set of pipe bending springs. So we've straightened, I'll put some pictures up, we've straightened the oil delivery pipe for the PTO. The steel's arrived and I've made the bracket that was missing to hold that pipe rigid in place. As I say, put a couple of pictures up for you there, let you see what we've been doing. The next job for this will either be putting the PTO on or setting the internals of the clutch stop brake, which means we can then get the gearbox lid put on, we can get the steering column put on, we can get all bolted up gear sticks put in, get all that in bolted up, and then we will be able to move on to either putting the PTO on after that or looking to get these on. I would really like to get to the point, all the front wheels is done, the front wheels need painting, but all the front axles, the beams, the bearings, everything's been done. It would be nice to get to the condition where we can get the front wheels and the old rear wheels put back on this and get it so it's mobile. Once it's mobile, it becomes a lot easier to handle. And also, you haven't got the panic of the axle stands collapsing under the weight of all this extra castings that's going on. Right. So that wraps it up for this one, guys. Thanks very much for visiting. As always, your time is greatly appreciated. Remember, don't overthink it. It's only nuts and bolts. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye now.